to welcome you all on behalf of Ms. Renu Kulkarni, Head Placements and Corporate Relations and Placement Coordinators, to the flagship event of Placement Cell, Global Leaders Corporate Summit. At the outset, I would like to start by introducing our host for the day, Mr. Vikram Podar. He is a former investment banker turned corporate comedian. Mr. Podar says, the way investors laughed at his valuations, it was a logical move. An MBA from FMS Delhi, with over 8 years of corporate experience, he was also a part of the 3-member team executing the $176 million buyout of Thomas Cook India, the top 5 PE deals of the year. Traumatized by the endless Excel sheet, he turned to comedy for solace. He has made comedy an integral part of HR by creating unique workshops using comedy as a tool for leadership development. His clients include Nomura, Vodafone, MERS, Aditya Birla, Great Place to Work, and the list goes on. Before I call him, I should state that he has a serious medical condition. He faints on stage if the audience does not cheer and applause. So ladies and gentlemen, with a big round of applause, please join me in welcoming our corporate comedian and host for the day, Mr. Vikram Podar.
Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a round of applause for Abhishek, Ritika, and everyone who's helped put this whole event together? Yes, thank you. And of course, for the youth for conceptualizing this amazing platform. Yes, can we hear it? This initiative was started in the year 2012 as an initiative to bridge the gap that exists between students and corporates, and also the academic and theoretical concepts, which is the practical application of those concepts at ground level reality. Like, can you really get your travel reimbursement from finance in just 3 days? The event last year was graced by corporate honchos and CXOs, CEOs, CFOs, CMOs, CEOs, and CPOs, and C3POs if you are a Star Wars fan. From 32 global business houses, such as PwC, Credit Suisse, Tata Motors, Naukri.com, and others. Eminent business houses like Infosys, HSBC, Capgemini, Yes Bank, Hitachi, Azure Knowledge, Credit Suisse, Creator Bharat Private Limited, SG Analytics, Virtusa Corporation, Barclays, Bajaj Finserv, GSP Corp Science, Precimetrics, Being Catalyst, Aquaspike, InfoStretch, Early Salary, Intelligence Node, Pencilworks Learning Private Limited, EY, Larsen & Toubro, Eros International, Business World, Morgan Stanley, Ping Network, Being Catalyst Private Limited, ACG Pharmagems, Sakal Media Group in the same league have already given their confirmation. I think we can have a round of applause for some great individuals. Let's also hear it for our sponsors. And now here I want to state something, guys. The first student to repeat all the sponsor names correctly whenever I call for it gets a free pass to my next comedy show in Pune. So please pay careful attention. This event is sponsored by Hitachi, Budani, Mapro, Rasna, VLCC, Mother Dairy, Mongenes, BW Business World, Campus Times, and Sakal Times. Can we hear it for our sponsors one time, please? The initiative of the SIMS Placement Cell intends to lay a foundation for future synergies between SIMS and various organizations to foster a relationship that is bound to reach the apex of success. And of course, because placements will also be coming up soon. You see, this whole concept of CTC, I think CTC is like a packet of potato chips. It's only when you buy the pack and you open it, you realize how much is just air. And such complex calculations, deduct PR, pack back allowances, deduct cost of senior management offsite in Thailand. In fact, see, I deal with a lot of HR personnel, they're one of my closest friends. And I think HR guys are a lot like magicians. I think they're a bit like those guys on Fashion Street who sell you fake stuff but insist that it's real. Like this guy's telling my sister, देखो मैडम genuine माल है, देखो branded माल है, देखो label भी लगा है, Reebok. I'm like, dude, it's a salwar kameez. Ladies and gentlemen, are you excited to get this event started? Yes, can I have a huge round of applause? Now the first panel discussion is the IT-ITES panel. So let me do a quick survey of the room. All the engineers in the room, make some noise. And I've learned something from my experience, so that engineers are the toughest guys to teach communication. Especially when it comes to communicating with women. You guys know, right, how most engineers in this country say hi to a girl? I love you. Now the topic for the ITS panel is artificial intelligence and machine learning. Now here's hoping a machine doesn't start writing jokes and put me out of work. So can we please welcome our first panelist, Dr. Ashok Karania, Vice President Europe in Poststretch. Dr. Karania is an entrepreneurial leader with more than 15 years of senior management experience in strategy, sales alliances, and client relations. Dr. Karania is the founder of Mobile Monday Ahmedabad and was also the member of CII Gujarat State Panel for ICT. He completed his post-graduation in management from the SPJ Institute of Management and Research, Mumbai, in April 2002. On a personal note, my sister and brother-in-law are from the same batch. Since we all know, B School is also a post-grad version of Shadi.com. Presently, as the Vice President for the Europe business, he brings InfoStretch's highly innovative and cutting-edge Silicon Valley expertise to European enterprises. Ashok is a popular speaker and shared his insight and experiences at TEDx, MIT AIT Speaker Series, TIE, CII, NASCOM, and Mobile Monday forums. So ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Dr. Ashok Karania. May I welcome the next panelist, Mr. Peter Theobald, President, Security Business, Hitachi Systems, Microclinic Private Limited. A seasoned IT security professional with over 27 years of experience, Mr. Theobald has built and managed the security practice for many large business corporations in India, such as Larsen & Toubro Group, SDFC, Castrol, Godrej Group, etc. He had a successful stint as an IT entrepreneur with his venture IT Secure Software Private Limited, which he expanded to $1 million plus IT corporation with nationwide presence and hundreds of customers. His other interests are writing, health and nutrition. He volunteers for the NGO Sharan, and long distance running. He runs the half marathon every year raising money for charity. He also enjoys performing magic for children. I used to perform magic for adults, I just called it investment banking. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Peter Theobald. Our next panelist is Mr. Pradeep Gidwani, CEO, Aquaspike Financial Services and Aquaspike Fashion. Aquaspike Financial Services is a dealer in equities and bullion, and Aquaspike Fashion is an export consultant for Indian fabrics. Please join me once again in welcoming Mr. Pradeep Gidwani to the stage. Our next panelist is Mr. Prasanjit Mukherjee, Global HR Head, Azure Knowledge Corporation, Executive Search Coach, Competency Developer and L&D Champion. He's a global leader of talent acquisition and head of human resources. With 12 plus years of experience in onshore and offshore recruitment, including nations like India, the Czech Republic, Eastern Europe, Saudi Arabia, United States, United Kingdom, Canada, and Africa. His principal responsibility includes development of strategic hiring practices. As a subject matter expert in innovative hiring and headhunting, he has closed mid and senior level positions like CXOs, CEOs, and senior execs/senior VPs in his current company. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Prasanjit Mukherjee to the stage. Our next panelist is Mr. Ranjit Anand, Managing Director Head, Credit Suisse. If the applause starts dropping, I'll have to start doing all sort of surveys, okay? So make sure you stay out of the scope. Mr. Ranjit Anand holds a degree in BA Honours Economics from the University of Delhi. He's a qualified chartered accountant from Pricewaterhouse. Before joining Credit Suisse, Ranjit was Director of Delivery Management, Aviva. Based in Pune, and was responsible for managing the operations of deployed functions across all insurance processes. Ranjit has worked for a number of corporations including American Express and JP Morgan Chase in various senior level assignments relating to offshore and outsourced financial processes. He is presently the Managing Director of Credit Suisse in the Asia Pacific Division based in Pune. He is the head of Credit Suisse and is responsible for site operations and for driving implementation of the global BBC strategy in Credit Suisse Pune. So ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming once again Mr. Ranjit. And may I finally call on the moderator for this session, Riya Kumar, anchor and presenter. And let's hear it for her because she's also an alumnus of Symbiosis family with a management degree from SCMHRD. Awarded by the Rotary International for a stellar hosting of their prestigious annual event. A hashtag Born to Rule on stage presenter with an excellent command over English, Hindi, Bengali, coupled with a strong corporate work experience in IT. She hosts major corporate events for clients like Axis Bank, Amdocs, Cognizant, Mitsui, McLeod's Pharma, etc. Please join me in welcoming our moderator for the event, Riya Kumar. I look forward to this session being concluded and will take your leave now. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, ma'am.
Thank you so much for being here and thank you for inviting me. My name is Riya Kumar and it gives me immense pleasure to be with you all today. And I'll be moderating our first panel discussion of the day. And this is something that is such an integral part of our day-to-day lives. And I'm talking about none other than artificial intelligence and machine learning. So today, with our esteemed panel, we're going to discuss about AI, what it is all about, the prospects of AI, how it is changing our lives, our industry, what is the future of AI, and also what are the cons of having AI in our lives. Is it a threat to the human race or not? Thank you so much, all of you, for joining us. My first question to each one of you would be, what are the tangible opportunities do you think that AI presents to optimize your business, your processes, and your industry as a whole?
Some of the most tangible benefits of AI we start to see in our everyday life, right? When you have the Google Maps, which road to take, FC road is jammed, take another road. Or, the Facebook tagging as she was mentioning, you upload the photos, it automatically identifies those. When you are trying to do shopping, recommendations for you, what to buy along with the other products, when you are also looking at a lot of driving decisions, in the more Western countries, in the European countries, in the US, the driverless cars are here, and they are here to change the way. Imagine, in India, the truck driver, goes to the entire length and the breadth of the country, but his energy is only spent about 10 to 12 hours. But if you have the driverless trucks which are powered by the AI learnings, they could go 24 hours. So, there are lots more examples, but I would not like to, take away the thunder from the rest of the panelists. But I see opportunities across all business segments. It's like internet and mobile. Your every mobile application, right from Times of India, to your booking, your banking, your ordering pizza, everything has been changed. Similarly, AI is going to change that. When you order your next pizza, it will automatically detect your history and make you recommendations. So I see all businesses getting transformed. I see opportunities all across them, and there are challenges as well, which I guess we can come across in the later segment of the talk.
What advice would you give to a startup or a company who is planning to venture into artificial intelligence? What would be your advice to them in terms of the technologies involved, in terms of the skills involved, in terms of the cost involved, because it's a very costly technology to invest on. So what typical advice would you like to give to a company who wants to get into AI?
First thing is that AI, unless you're a hardcore, technology, you're a PhD, or doing research, It's an enabler. It's something that's going to help you do your business better. So what is that business? You know, who is your target customer? Who are you serving? What is the market? And you know, it has to work, because you know, finally you look today at all the so-called startups and all the, you know, they're all losing money hand over fist. You know, for somebody like me with the white hair that I have got, it just doesn't make sense what is going on here. And I firmly believe it's a bubble, and it's going to, you know, sooner or later. And it's like, you know, you see the children's game, passing the pillow. You know, in a birthday party they keep passing the pillow, and when the music stops, the guy holding the pillow is out. That's precisely what will happen here. They're going on selling the company, one company to other, one company, and finally the guy who's left holding the thing, when the whole thing blows up, he's going to be left, with the baby or whatever. So the basic thing is that to get into any business, so the fundamentals of business are not changed. You have to deliver a product or a service, and you have to make a profit for the shareholder. And you know, how many ever .coms and whatever, you know, Ubers and Flipkarts and everybody come, these fundamentals don't change. The same way AI, you know, the fundamental doesn't change. You have to have a strong business model and ability to execute. Otherwise, you know, so AI or no AI, the AI cannot help you to make money. You have to figure that out on your own.
Every business has to be focused on technology. I believe that 40% of the businesses won't exist if they don't focus on technology. It need not necessarily be AI. So I was a part of the Gen Next ecosystem some time back, where we had 32 startups, and 50% of them are focusing on AI. So even it's not, according to me, it's not mandatory for you to have AI, because somebody else might develop the software. So even if you don't have it, you can always outsource it and get those similar benefits. Like, so it's absolutely fine not having an AI setup, according to me.
Would you like to add, Prasenjit or Ranjit?
Yeah, I think for an organization who are deriving into an artificial intelligence, the human mechanism still needs to be there. So basically, I can give you one of my experience. I was driving with Uber, and I was so there was a GPS which is enabled, and the driver said, "I'll only follow the GPS." I said, "Fine." I stay at Ahmedabad, so Ahmedabad is a relatively smaller city. So and I know Ahmedabad, you know. So I said that, "Okay, you take this turn." "No, sir, I'll follow it because that's the policy." I said, "Fine, do it." So he takes all the turns, and then the expected fare, which was supposed to be paid, it was much larger. There were no surge. So I wrote an email. They said that we follow the GPS, which was an automated GPS, which take me here. So I said that I know that there was a shorter route. So the human mechanism, see, the interesting fact is that I, being a native, I know there is a shorter route, but Google can't. So if you need to take a shorter route, you have to take it all U-turn and take it there. So that's the intelligence, and that's human. So we built it, right? So basically an organization is following, and this executive was actually arguing with me that, okay, Google is correct, we cannot quantify. I said, yes, 100%, but I am a local guy, I know there is a short term. So I had to probably take 2 days to convince that person that, okay, there is a short term which you can take, and the GPS will follow through. The maps were correct, everything was correct, they have a defined diaphragm, okay, that's how they map it. When they created the earth, the concept, they have defined diaphragm. They put the codes, they put the dots, and that's how they derived it, right? But when you are a local guy, you know that there is a shortcut. You take a shortcut, the GPS will follow through. If they don't take it, they'll probably charge. So that's the human intelligence and the artificial intelligence. Just an example. So an organization which is incorporating artificial intelligence has to also understand the customer service, the human touch, which is very important, and understanding how the consumer is going to expect from you, not just pour in the artificial intelligence over that person. That's what my point is.
I think from an organization perspective, over the last 40-50 years, if you look at their objective of profitability, which I mentioned earlier, I think very soon you have to start correlating. And very soon organizations have to see what value they're getting out of this. So I think there's always a cost benefit of the investment that it requires. So I think just to say you're going to look at robots, and we are, because it's very interesting, I think 1st Jan last year, 200 consulting companies stood up and said robotics is the way to go, right? and we were flooded with these proposals, right? And I can tell you, when we started talking to them about what's the empirical evidence of case studies that you've done, there was nothing that really came out. So I think you have to tread cautiously, and I think there is nothing that is going to beat the human sentiment and logic and that relationship that you build with the client. I think you can underlay all of this, which is great, because I think it will help you do things better. It will give you more information. But I think to say that you're going to do good business or bad business because you've got good robots or bad robots, I think the word is still out there. That's the way I would sum it up.